I'm Yogata, and I run a vintage clothing store called Astrology Store in Gotokuji, Setagaya. I mainly stock vintage clothing that I've found in the US. I tend to choose pieces with unique details like some damage or fading caused by the intense American sunlight. I also try to find items from eras that aren't usually seen in other vintage stores, such as pieces from the 2000s or rare standout items. I'm especially fond of San Francisco, and when I think of its culture, I think of graffiti, cycling, and things that feel closer to art. I find and buy items that capture that vibe. How I started this shop is that I was originally wholesaling vintage clothing, and before that I worked at a vintage clothing store in Harajuku. After that, I became independent and started my own wholesale business. I found out that the current space was open through a friend who went to the chiropractic clinic next door. They told me, "Why don't you try opening a vintage clothing store there?" And it got me thinking, maybe I'll give it a shot. I decided to name my shop Astrology Store for a few reasons. First, this space used to be a fortune-telling house, which I thought was a fun connection. Second, I've always enjoyed researching things like astrology, the zodiac, and yin-yang philosophy. Lastly, there's this quirky country musician named Harvey Sid Fisher, who has an album called Astrology Songs. The playful vibe of that album really resonated with the kind of atmosphere I wanted to create. With those three things coming together, Astrology Store just felt like the perfect name. This is the entrance, and this door is original to the building. I like that it has the feeling of a fortune-telling house. The sign on top, the T in store, was missing for a long time, but I got a friend who is an artist to paint it for me. It might be my favorite part of the store. When I first came to look at this space, I thought the window frames were very unique, and I liked that. The shape of these window frames is one of my favorite parts. I also love small American goods, like gardening items, things that you might put in your garden as a bird repellent like an old scarecrow. Since I couldn't find a T, I used this weird alien-like figure as the T for the sign. I often display things like that here, and it brings me so much joy when little kids from the neighborhood stop by to take a look. On this shelf, I have panniers that you can attach to a bike, pants, sweatshirts, and long-sleeve t-shirts that are good to wear right now. This one is a messenger bag called Truth. It has a Timbuktu logo inside, so it's a unique messenger bag. We also have USPS and VANS collaboration shoes. I really like sweatshirts that are faded with paint stains like this, so we have those here. I ride a bicycle, and I ride a Rivendell, which is made in Walnut Creek near San Francisco by an old man who used to work at Bridgestone. I bought it for city riding, but it also has some mountain bike elements, and I really like it. This piece is really interesting. It's a 90s nylon anorak with a unique flap pocket design that you don't often see. What makes it stand out the most for me is the Microsoft embroidery, which I think is such a cool detail. Nylon outerwear is also super practical for cycling, so I find it not only stylish but also very functional. I've also been picking up short-sleeved sweatshirts recently because I find them really interesting. This one is especially unique. It's made of quilted fabric, and for some reason, the armpit and arm areas are made of different materials. It even has this strange zipper here. I'm drawn to quirky items like this, so I love stocking them. This Mountain Hardware is an outdoor brand from the Bay Area. I like the design and material change. It is a 2000s piece. This Zoic brand is also from San Francisco, a brand that mainly makes mountain bike apparel. It features pockets for holding drinks and a fleece neckline, which I find really cool and unique. This is a Patagonia organic cotton shirt with a rather rare color scheme. There's also this piece from Pearl Izumi, a Japanese cycling wear brand that's quite popular in the US. The original color has faded from sun exposure to this unique shade. I find the fading and the worn out areas really interesting, which is why I decided to stock it. This tam, as you can see, is designed like the mushroom from Mario. I can't quite remember where I bought it, but I'm pretty sure it was made and worn by some quirky person in the US. I really like pins, and whenever I'm in the US, I always make a point to check them out. We've got some pins displayed here as well. I often pick up unique shoes when I find them. This one is a leather sandal from Timberland, kind of like a slip-on. I have this image of San Francisco artists wearing something like this. So whenever I come across something interesting, I make sure to buy it. I feel like this UFO-shaped light has become something of a symbol for the store, or at least I personally think it has. It connects beautifully with the name Astrology, and it's something I really love and take pride in. I've met graffiti artists in San Francisco and have displayed some of the stickers they made for me, along with keychains and other small items. I really enjoy curating these kinds of unique pieces, and I'm especially fond of this Torii Gate. There's this gritty flea market in San Francisco where I came across this item with a pattern that reminds me of Barry McGee. I've put it on display here, and it's something that holds a lot of memories for me. This is an energy dome from Devo. I'm a huge fan of Devo. And when I found this set with the costume and dome in the US, I absolutely loved it. This is a messenger bag that I personally use. It was made by an acquaintance of mine in San Francisco. The last time I saw him, he was wearing a cycling jersey paired with work pants, and I thought that style was really cool. Ever since, I've started intentionally looking for and buying unique cycling jerseys that catch my eye. I have many good friends, including people in the same industry. Personally, I hope to collaborate with them, not just within the vintage clothing scene, but to create something exciting and enjoyable together on a broader scale.